Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1758. I'm here this morning, 1758th morning, consecutive days, uh, bringing you morsels of a thought of wisdom, hopefully, that we learn the right things to do in our lives because knowing the right thing to do is wisdom, and then actually taking the action is virtue. And we're reading from George J. Chanos, Millennial Samurai, Book One, A Mindset for the 21st Century. Right now, we are on networking. This is chapter 80, page 171. And shall we begin? Seek out people you believe may be able to help you and try to make new connections. Never overlook people you believe can do nothing for you. You may be surprised. Some of my greatest successes, the author says, some of my greatest successes in life can be traced to introductions from people I never would have imagined might play an important role in my life. Always treat everyone with kindness and respect. A seemingly insignificant stranger may later become someone who changes your life forever. By expanding your network of contacts, you expand your potential for new opportunities. By expanding your network of contacts, you expand your potential for new opportunities. Now, that is exactly the sort of thing that we see at the events such as the Secret Knock. I know that because I've been there a few times now, and I like it very much. By expanding your network of contacts, you expand your potential for new opportunities. Networks are not just about who can help you today. Networks can and should last a lifetime. For example, somebody could put you in touch with somebody very, very important, such as my friend who uh, put her son in touch with somebody very, very important. Well, mothers are the most important people in our lives, so it doesn't quite fit with the example or analogy. However, we know that important networking, how important networking can be. The author says technology platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook can be invaluable in developing and maintaining networks. Think about how you are using these platforms and how you are presenting yourself online. Becoming visible is an important part of networking. Create visibility for yourself by attending events, posting information online, writing a blog, commenting on posts, and asking or answering questions. In all instances, make certain that the visibility you create places you in a favorable light. Continue to build, develop, and maintain your relationships throughout your life, and never underestimate the importance of any relationship. Leverage your relationships for job referrals, recommendations, and or introductions. If you don't have relationships with individuals who can mentor you or give you advice, get involved in your community and work to develop helpful relationships, referrals, and recommendations. If you're already employed, join industry groups, attend conferences, volunteer at your children's school, or offer your volunteer services to nonprofits. Try to meet new people. Set a goal for yourself of trying to meet one new person every day. If this seems too ambitious, try to meet at least one or two new people every week. Look for opportunities at school, at your job, at the grocery store, at the car wash, at the mall, wherever you happen to be. Introduce yourself to new people. Your instincts will tell you when it's the right time. Start by simply being open to people and to opportunities when they present themselves. Be friendly, warm, respectful, and inviting when you meet new people. I'm going to read it twice more. Be friendly, warm, respectful, and inviting when you meet new people. Be friendly, warm, respectful, and inviting when you meet new people. Say hello to people and make it easy for them to say hello to you. Don't be afraid of rejection. Have courage and confidence. And when they do reject you, you just shrug your shoulders and then go left. Don't expect, the author says, don't expect every encounter to be positive or instantly lead to a new friendship. Good things take time and effort. Invest the time, make the effort, radiate a warm, positive, and authentic personality. Carry a genuine and compassionate confidence rather than a boastful or contrived confidence. So, false confidence really shows. That's what he's saying. And he says, let your positive, authentic personality act like a magnet of attraction. Let your positive, authentic personality act like a magnet of attraction. Wow. Let your positive, authentic personality act like a magnet of attraction. You never know where a chance encounter may lead. I am always looking for talented people who can add value to the businesses I am involved with or whose talents and skills may present new opportunities. So are many other employers and business people. Great people are hard to find. Be one of them and don't be hard to find. Get out there and get noticed. I want to talk a little bit about the networking I have done, just because there are some nice examples in where I've gone. And George J. Chanos, Millennial Samurai, Book One, A Mindset for the 21st Century. We're reading this because knowing the right things to do is a form of wisdom, and then actually doing it is called creating virtue. So I invite other people to bring me their wisdom, and I borrow it, which means I broadcast it to you all, and then we have a synopsis of what other people have learned through their whole life experiences. So, morsels of a thought are intended to bring you ways of creating virtue. Oh, my examples. Uh, there was an example where I was sitting on a plane, and to my right were two empty seats to the window. And I fell asleep and took a nap, and then I woke up, and there was a woman sitting by the window. There was still an empty seat between us, and we smiled and said hello. Long story made short, she wound up being one of my best friends in all of our lives. And we learned so much from each other. It was crazy how much we learned from each other. She has been laid to rest. Um, Unfortunately, she lived to be 64. And yet, all the things she taught me, no, I now know will lead me to have a longer life. Now, why she couldn't have, we don't know. Um, she had a sudden stroke, and so that was hard to deal with. But in any case, that was one friend I made that way. Another friend I made in another way. Let me think. Um, who else is there? Oh, a friend brought a friend to my party one time, and we wound up being best friends later. The friend that had introduced us eventually lost contact with me. I don't know where she is, but the person that she introduced me to turned out to be very nice, and we were best friends for quite a while. We learned from each other. I helped her with her resume when she moved cross country. It was good. And I also recommended to her where not to live and where to live. And she found her own place in a very nice way. But I did recommend where not to live, so she knew better than to see. The appearances can be deceiving. So, in terms of locations where you live, you want to have a neighborhood where um, you have a good neighborhood where people behave nicely, because you can't change your neighborhood, but you can change your house. So no matter how ramshackle your house is, you can choose it if it's in a nice neighborhood. That'll help a lot. Cesar Chavez, American labor leader, back to the author, George J. Chanos. Cesar Chavez, American labor leader and civil rights activist. Cesar is spelled Cesar, Chavez, Chavez, American labor leader and civil rights activist, said, "Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others for their sakes and for our own." In other words, what's good for everybody is good for us. It's not only what's good for us that we need to deal with. The origin, says the author, the origin of the word community comes from the Latin word communis, which means shared by all. So, community literally means to share among each other. Communities are as varied as their members. Often, people belong to multiple communities. Communities can be families, educational institutions, businesses, religious groups, or teams. And did you know you could probably be a community unto yourself? I say that because cat colonies can consist of a single cat. Yes, yes. So communities, I assume, can consist of one or two people, uh, maybe maybe not even more than one person. But community means shared, so I think it does mean more than one person. Communities are the very essence. The author says communities are the very essence of how we live and socialize with others. They provide a sense of identity and purpose, a sense of belonging. They provide a sense of identity and purpose, a sense of belonging. Disadvantaged or marginalized people often have limited opportunities to develop any personal or professional communities. Their disadvantages, a physical or intellectual disability, a drug dependency, or any other limiting characteristic, reduce their abilities to develop social networks. Many gang members join gangs not because they want to live that life, but because they need the security and sense of belonging that a gang provides. We all need a sense of belonging. We all need a sense of belonging. And I'm going to add in that the most important thing a person wants from you is to be appreciated or acknowledged. So we all need a sense of belonging, says the author. It doesn't matter how successful we are. If we have no one to share our successes with, life becomes meaningless. Relationships are essential to both our happiness and success. Communities are where we make friends, develop personal and business contacts, share experiences and resources, learn, teach, advise, and support one another. Virtually every community has groups and organizations whose mission is to help those within their community. Become part of your community. Gain what others in your community have to offer and give back by showing pride and respect for the community you live in. Regardless of what community you are part of, the people and resources in that community can add value to your life if you allow yourself to be open to them. Your community represents an incredible asset that can assist you and your family in achieving your goals. Embrace your community and it will embrace you. Now, a word about families. Sometimes people stay out of their families because there are bad feelings and people who will not help you achieve your goals. So don't worry about that. Establish a community of people who will help you achieve your goals. And I want to say good morning to everybody this morning. It is currently I can't see it, but it's about 6:30 a.m. my time in California. The sun hasn't yet risen here, but I know that on the East Coast you are all in sunlight already, basking in the sun or walking in the rain, maybe. I don't know. But I wanted to say hello to John Clark and Debbie Baza and Colleen Dracos and Gina Portoff and Glis Rose Cantara and Thelma Pacheco Gonzalez, and then AC Rosita. And volunteering is the next chapter. We are reading page 175 of Millennial Samurai, Book 1, A Mindset for the 21st Century by George J. Chanos, former Nevada Attorney General, and he has got lots of information. We're bringing more virtue into the world through morsels of a thought. Morsels of a thought from a gentleman who has lived through politics are very, very, very valuable. I don't feel as wise as all that, but by bringing you borrowed wisdom, I feel that we can bring more virtue into the world because doing the right thing is virtuous. Okay, volunteering. The impact of volunteering extends well beyond the causes you serve. It helps you as much as anyone else. In a recent study on people who volunteered, researchers found that 76% felt healthier, 90% felt happier, 96% felt an enriched sense of purpose, and 95% felt they were improving their community. Volunteerism is an investment in your community, one that pays personal dividends. Helping others has a profoundly positive impact on your emotional well-being and can help you reach your personal goals. Volunteering allows you to meet new people and develop new relationships that can be life-changing. I've had that happen. I have been a volunteer in many aspects, many ways, and there are some experiences that are positive and some that are not so positive, but I've learned who my friends are. And I've figured out that you have to have politics in your life in every way. Look at a cat colony. Look at how they have politics too. Can you imagine? I had I had a home one time, not a house, but I lived in somebody's apartment, and they had a cat. And the cat really liked me a lot. And when a cat likes you, they lick you on the arm. Well, I have to say, how does this relate? It is that in front of her owner, the cat never showed that kind of affection toward me. But when her owner wasn't around, then she could climb on top of me and sit in my lap and lick my arm. So that's political. That's what a cat does. Think about that. If a what we call a dumb beast, somebody that a mute beast can do it, we can too. So anyway, volunteering politics. Ay ay ay. Anyway, volunteering allows you to meet new people, the author says, and develop new relationships that can be life-changing. It allows you to develop new skills that you can't learn in a classroom. Volunteering can act as a gateway into the workforce, especially if you volunteer in areas that are related to a field of employment that interests you. It can also put you in contact with potential mentors. Find an area that interests you and volunteer your time. It will be time well spent. Help. Never be afraid to ask for help. Uh, okay, I will give you an example of how you have to recognize that you need to ask for help. One time I was in pain and I was walking to my car from school, and my body was hurting very badly and I could have used a ride. I saw a police car go by. I saw another police car go by. I saw another police car go by. There were 9 police cars. 9. And I never even thought, never, I might not have been able to anyway, but I never even thought to ask for a ride to my car by a policeman. I never even thought of it. That is when I realized that no matter how much my body hurt, I was not asking for help. So here, Dr. Chanos says, never be afraid to ask for help. He says, there are many good people who genuinely want to help you. They don't want to support you and they don't want to take on an unnecessary or excessive burden, but they are often willing to lend a hand, offer advice, or be there for you in a moment of need. Be independent, strive to be self sufficient, never abuse the generosity of others. Always be grateful for any assistance you receive. Never assume that you're entitled to receive anything you haven't earned, but never be afraid to ask for help. The world is changing rapidly and radically. We're at the threshold of a technological revolution that will swell the ranks of the unemployed. People who don't need help today will need help tomorrow, he says. And that could include you or someone in your family. We already see it happening all around us. Friends who have lost their jobs or can't get jobs, students who graduate with crushing debt and can't find jobs requiring a college degree, people over 40 who have lost their jobs and have difficulty securing new jobs because of their age. Times are tough for many, and the changing nature of employment, together with the absence of available resources for retraining and reskilling, will make things tougher for millions more. So, it's important that you understand that you can and should ask for help. It is even more important that you understand that humanity is profoundly interdependent. We need each other to survive and thrive. Millions more will soon be unemployed, not as a consequence of a poor economy, but as a consequence of an automated economy. A poor economy would further increase these numbers. If we operate on the principle of, quote, survival of the fittest, end quote, or, quote, I'm not my brother's keeper, end quote, what do you believe will happen to the unemployed? Do you believe that millions more will suffer in silence, as many do in third world countries? I don't. America's poor are far more educated, empowered, and entitled than the poor of third world countries. They will not suffer and or starve in silence. Many will commit crimes to feed themselves and their families, and this will affect everyone's quality of life. The changes that are coming will not only adversely affect the displaced and the disenfranchised, their plight will adversely affect all of us. Ultimately, we will come to understand that survival of the fittest is not in our mutual self interest. Rather, it is in our mutual self interest to help our neighbor to not only survive, but to thrive. It is only through that recognition that real and sustainable progress will be possible. Nature provides an interesting example of profound interdependence. The fire ant can't swim. In heavy rains, they lock their legs and form floating rafts to avoid drowning. Alone, they would perish. Together, they survive. Humans behave the same way in times of crisis. We see this in natural disasters all across the world. We need to learn that it is essential for us to help others before crisis strikes. Our own quality of life and that of our family ultimately depends on our helping others. In other words, helping others is not only the right thing to do for those in need, it is essential to our own quality of life and our own survival. Morsels of a thought, number 1758. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Old Kinderhook.